January 19th, 2026, part 3 of Chapter 12, Introduction into the Middle Way, Majjhima Patipata, page 1267 to page 1278. G, the path as the way to achieving life's objectives. Today is part 3 of Buddhadhamma and introduction to chapter 12. Now we're going to have it going back and forth from Pali and then the definition or the description from the Pali language. So the path of way to achieving life's objective, G. And this is an insert from the Apamata Sutra. Your Majesty, I told the Bhikkhu Ananta, having good friends, having good companions, and a delight in associating with virtuous people is equivalent to the entire holy life. When a monk has a good friend, it is to be expected that he will develop and cultivate the noble eightfold path, Mak Ong Bet. Therefore, great king, you should train yourself thus. I will be one who has good friends, who has good companions, who delights in associating with virtuous people. When the great king who have good friends, you should delight and apply this vital principle, heedfulness, in respect to the wholesome states. When you are heedful and dwelling diligently, your retinue of harem women, your nobles and royal entourage, your soldiers, and even to the townspeople and villagers will think thus. The king is heedful and dwells diligently. Come now, let us be heedful and dwell diligently. When a great king, you are heedful and dwelling delightfully, you yourself will be guarded and protected. Your retinue of harem women will be guarded and protected. Your treasury and storehouse will be guarded and protected. One who desires great begin riches should take great care. The wise praise diligence, performing meritorious deeds. The wise are heedful and thus secure both kinds of good. The good visible in this very life and the good of the future. A wise person, by attaining the good, is called a sage. That's from the Apamata Sutra. Now the term atta means good. Can be also translated as substance, meaning the objective, benefit, target, or the goal. In this context, it means the true purpose, the goal of life, referring to the goal of the holy life and the goal of Buddhism. Most people know that the highest goal of Buddhism is Nibbita, for which there exists the epithet Paramata, meaning supreme good, the supreme goal. It is normal that when teaching the Dhamma, there is a great emphasis on the practice in order to reach the highest goal. Buddhism, however, does not overlook the secondary benefits or goals which people realize according to their individual level of spiritual maturity. These benefits are often clearly defined as evident in the passage above. As far as I can ascertain, the older text divides spiritual good, atta, into two categories, as seen in the passage above. The first category is ditta dhamma kata, meaning initial benefits, present good, good in this lifetime. The second category is samparayik kata. Profound benefits, future good, the higher good. In this case, the supreme good, paramata, is included in the second factor of higher good, samparayikata. It is the apex of the second form of spiritual benefit. As we discussed earlier in chapter 6, in the Buddhadhamma and Paramayika in chapter 6. The authors of later texts, however, wish to give special emphasis to the good supreme and thus distinguish it as a separate factor, resulting into 3 levels of spiritual benefits or the spiritual goals. The first one, Buddhadhamma, the present good, good in this lifetime, visible benefits. This refers to a basic or intermediate goals to obvious everyday benefits. It pertains to the external or ordinary, mundane aims and aspirations like material gain, wealth, prestige, pleasure, praise, social status, friendships, and a happy married life. It also includes the righteous search for these things, a correct relationship to them, the use of these things in a way that brings happiness to oneself and others, communal harmony, and the fulfillment of one's social responsibilities, which leads to communal well-being. The second, samparayikata, the future good. Inconspicuous benefit, profound benefits which are not immediately visible. It pertains to the person's spiritual life or to the true value of human life. It refers to the higher goals, which acts as a surety when one passes away from this world, or as a guarantee for obtaining superior blessings, superior gains, greater than one normally realizes in this world. These benefits include spiritual development and the increase of virtuous qualities as interest in moral conduct, meritorious deeds and cultivation of goodness, and actions based on faith and relinquishment, a confidence in the power of virtue, tranquility, and mental ease, experience of refined happiness, and the exceptional attributes of concentration, meditation, and absorption, either of the fine or the non-material jhana. Originally, the supreme benefits of this awakening was also included in this term. A person who realized these benefits is released from an attachment to material things. One does not overvalue these things to the point of grasping, upatana, onto them, succumbing to them, or allowing them to be a cause for doing evil. Instead, one gives value to virtue, acts with love of truth, cherishes a good quality of life, and delights in spiritual development. Reaching this stage produces results and can be used in conjunction with mundane benefits, Dhamma, the Buddhadhamma, which supports oneself and others. For example, instead of using money for seeking sensual pleasure, one uses it to assist others to enhance the quality of one's life. The third, paramata, supreme benefit, the true essential good. This refers to the highest goal, the final destination, realization of the truth, a thorough knowledge of the nature of conditioned phenomena, non-enslavement by the world, a free, joyous, spacious mind, an absence of oppressions by personal attachment and fears, an absence of defilements which burn and corrupt the mind, a freedom from dukkha, suffering, a realization of internal happiness, which is completely pure, accompanied by perfect peace, illumination, and joy. In other words, this refers to liberation, vimutti, to nibbita. Gautama Buddha acknowledged the importance of all the aforementioned benefits of goals, realizing that they are connected to the individual level of lifestyle, profession, surroundings, proficiency, readiness, and the maturity of spiritual faculties. From the passage stated above, however, it is evident that according to Buddhism, all people should reach the second stage of benefits or goals. It is good to have attained a present immediate benefits, but this is insufficient. One should not rest here. One should progress and realize at least some aspects of profound spiritual benefits. A person who has obtained the first two levels of benefits or has reached the first two goals is praised as a pandita. A pandita is a person who lives wisely, whose life is not meaningless and void. Gautama Buddha gave comprehensive practical teachings on how to reach all these benefits. On some occasion, he gave a teaching on how to obtain four kinds of immediate, visible benefits. The first one, uttana sampata, meaning perseverance, to know how to apply panya, wisdom, to manage one's affair. The second one is araka sampata, to know how to protect one's wealth and possessions so that they are safe and do not come to harm. The third, kayana mitata, to associate with virtuous people who support one's spiritual practice and development. The fourth one, samajivita, to lead a balanced livelihood, to be happy without needing to live lavishly, to keep one's income greater than one's expenditures, to maintain savings, to economize. Similarly, he gave the teaching on how to obtain four kinds of profound spiritual benefits. The first one, sattha sampata, to possess faith based on reason and to live in line with the Buddha's teaching, to be deeply inspired by the Ratanatai, the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, to believe in the law of causality, law of karma, and to be anchored in something virtuous. The second kind is sila sampata, to be endowed with moral conduct, to live virtuously and to make a living honestly, to maintain moral discipline is suitable for one's way of life. The third is sakha sampata, the accomplishment of relinquishment, to be generous and charitable, to be ready to help those in need. And the fourth, panya sampata, to live wisely, to know how to reflect on things, to apply discriminative knowledge, to fully understand the world, to be able to detach the mind from akusala states, unwholesome states, according to the circumstances. In regard to the supreme benefits of the goal of paramattha, that it is so difficult to understand and to realize, and also because it is the unique factor distinguishing Buddhism from all previous religious doctrines. It is natural that Gautama Buddha gave great emphasis. There are teachings by Gautama Buddha on the supreme goals spread throughout the Tipitaka, the three baskets. And similarly, in this text, Buddhadhamma, this theme has been touched upon frequently. As for the first two levels of benefits, they have been adequately taught by Buddhist scholars and teachers throughout the ages. The first level is the conscience, the mundane, the immediate benefits. has been taught by lay Buddhists as is suitable for their particular time period and location. Buddhists have readily adopted any teaching in this context that is effective and does not lead to deviation from the middle way, the Majjhima Patipata. Lay Buddhists themselves are able to elaborate and adapt these practices as is appropriate to their circumstances. In the above sutra, the passage of Gautama Buddha, emphasizes the quality of heedfulness, appamada, as a factor that which help realize the aforementioned benefits. Appamata can be defined as the absence of indifference, passivity, or neglect, attentiveness, diligence, and ambition, being well prepared and vigilant, hasten to do that which should be done, adjust that which should be adjusted, do what that which is good. A heedful person knows that diligence is the fundamental spiritual quality, which leads to both immediate and future benefits. There is an added stipulation here for heedfulness must be firmly established as the association with virtuous people, on having good friends, and on involving such people in one's activities. Moreover, Gautama Buddha explains heedfulness here to mean diligence in regard to the wholesome states, to engage in virtuous qualities and performing virtuous deeds. Punya Kiriya. The term Punya Kiriya provides an interesting link to the related subject. When Gautama Buddha on a certain occasion spoke about secondary benefits or goals, he reduced his emphasis in the relation to the supreme goal. When he focused on the teaching was lowered to one of the secondary goals, the levels of practice that he recommended was also lowered or relaxed. This is the case not only in specific, isolated circumstances. It is true also when he presented general wide-ranging systems of practice. When seeing this in the teaching of Gautama Buddha gave in reference to these three stages of benefits. Here, instead of practice being formulated according to the gradual teaching of the threefold training, Sikha Tiso, the threefold training of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, on virtue, concentration, and wisdom. That's the Sikha Tiso, the threefold training. As usual, in those teachings, focus primarily on supreme goals. The system of practice is restructured as general teaching, referred as virtuous action, punya kiriya, or the basis of virtuous action, punya kiriya vatu. In this teaching, there are likewise three factors, but with different names. There are as follows. 1. Dana. Dana means giving, relinquishment, generosity. The reasons for giving are various: to help others who are poor, destitute, or in need, to show goodwill in order to create trust, establish friendship, develop communal harmony, or to honor virtue by praising, encouraging, and supporting good people. The things given are also various: personal possessions, material objects, and requisites for sustaining life, a technical knowledge, advice, guidance on how to live one's life, or the gift of the Dhamma, the opportunity to participate in wholesome activities, and the gift of forgiveness, apayadana. 2. Sila, meaning virtuous conduct, earning one's living honestly, moral discipline, good manners. The main emphasis here is on not harming others and living together peacefully by maintaining the 5 precepts for lay people: not killing or injuring others, not violating other people's properties or possessions, not violating those who are cherished by others, not offending others by dishonoring them or destroying their families, not harming or undermining others by wrong or offensive speech, and not causing trouble for oneself by taking addictive intoxicants which impair mindfulness and clear comprehension. Spiritual qualities that act as restraints, preventing harm and preventing virtue. In addition to the 5 precepts for lay people, one may undertake the training to abstaining from certain luxuries and pleasing sense objects, and living simply and being less dependent on material things by keeping the 8 or 10 precepts at suitable times. So the 5 and 8 for lay peoples, the 8 and then the 10 for samaneras. Alternatively, one may undertake various forms of public service and assistance. Veve vicha kama. The third is pavana, meaning cultivating of the mind and wisdom, to undergo mental training in order to develop virtuous qualities, to strengthen and stabilize the mind, to generate wisdom which truly discerns conditioned phenomena, to have a correct worldview or perspective on life. The cultivation refers here to both concentration and wisdom, which is the threefold training. Is distinguished as samadhi bhavana or sita bhavana and panya bhavana. Here, the distinction between these two is not emphasized, and they thus are combined as a single factor. This factor emphasizes a wide range, including right effort, samma vayama, the effort to abandon mental defilements and to nurture wholesome qualities, which is part of samadhi group in the Eightfold Path, the both right view, samadhi, the right thought, samma sankappa, especially cultivation of loving kindness, the source of both personal and social well-being, which are part of wisdom's group in the Eightfold Path. The practices recommended in the scriptures for developing this combination of concentration and wisdom include seeking wisdom and clearing the mind by listening to the Dhamma, Dhamma Savana. The teaching include reading Dhamma books, reciting or teaching the Dhamma, discussing the Dhamma, revisiting and collecting one's benefits, views, and understandings, developing loving kindness and general methods of restricting and subduing mental defilements. It is evident that when the Buddha altered focus on his teachings to the more basic aspects of life or to secondary spiritual achievements, he adjusts the way one should live in one's life, the system of the Dhamma's practice accordingly. In the simplified system of practice, he emphasized physical and verbal actions, human interaction, and social relationship, which are easy to observe. The 2 factors of generosity, dana, and virtuous conduct, sila, focus on mental development, refined throughout the use of this basic external actions for the means of practice. One applies these 2 factors in order to eliminate coarse defilements. Practice on the levels of concentration on the higher mind, ati sita, and of wisdom, of higher wisdom, ati panya, on the other hand, deals directly with internal spiritual matters in both subtile and difficult. The systems of mature actions of punya kriya does not emphasize the level of practice and does combine these 2 factors. Moreover, it points out less refined aspects of concentration and wisdom, which can be practiced and developed in everyday life. Later generation of Buddhist teachers have tended to use these teachings on maturest action as appropriate for lay people. The system of the threefold training in the standard system and emphasis encompasses the entire Buddhist practice, the Bhikkhu Sangha, which symbolizes a communal applying the complete model of practice, should not act as the leader in undertaking the system of the threefold training, Sikha Tiso. Besides dividing benefits of goes, atta, vertically as described above, Gautama Buddha also classified benefits horizontally in order of a person's responsibility or in order of social interactions, here too is the threefold division. Monks, bhikkhu. Suppose there is a lake whose water is unmuddied, clear, and pristine. A person with good eyesight stand on the bank, could see snails, clams, stones, pebbles, and shoals of fish swimming or stationary in that lake. Why is that? Because the water is not cloudy. Just so, a monk, a bhikkhu whose mind is unclouded, understand one's own benefit, atata, the benefit of others, parata, and the benefit of both, upayata. It is possible for him to realize excellent states surpassing those of ordinary people. That is, knowledge and vision, nana dasana, which is capable of leading to the awakening. Why is that? Because the mind is unclouded. When a person is impassioned with lust, overwhelmed with possessed by lust, when a person harbors hatred, is overwhelmed and possessed by hatred, when a person is bewildered through delusion, overwhelmed and possessed by delusion, when he plans for his own harm, for the harms of others, and for the harms of both, he experiences in his mind suffering and grief. When lust, hatred, and delusion has been abandoned, he neither plans for his own harm, nor for the harm of others, nor for the harm of both. When a person is impassioned with lust, harbors hatred, is bewildered through delusion, he will behave badly by body, badly by speech, and badly by mind. When lust, hatred, and delusion has been abandoned, he does not behave badly by body, by speech, nor by mind. When a person is in passion with lust, harbors hatred, and bewildered through delusion, he does not understand, as it really is, his own welfare, others' welfare, and the welfare of both. When lust, hatred, and delusion has been abandoned, he understands that it really is his own welfare, others' welfare, and the welfare for both. Lust, hatred, and delusion causes the persons to be blind, visionless, and foolish. They restrict wisdom, cause affliction, are not conductive for nibbida. Seeing the harm in lust, in hatred, in delusion, I teach the abandonment of lust. I teach the abandonment of hatred. I teach the abandonment of delusion. Indeed, this noble eightfold path, my own bed, is right view, samadhi. Right concentration, samadhi, is the path, magga, the way of practice, samatha, to abandon lust, hatred, and delusion. Monks, bhikkhu, consider a personal well-being, you should accomplish it with care. Consider others' well-being, you should accomplish it with care. Consider the well-being of both, you should accomplish it with care. Here are the definitions for these kinds of benefits. Atta. First, attata. Personal benefits, realization of personal goals. That is, the three goals, atta, mentioned earlier, which have to do with oneself, which are accomplished specific to an individual. This factor emphasizes self-reliance at every stage of spiritual practice, so as not to be burdened on others or a hindrance to the community. Instead, one is fully prepared to help others and engage in activities effectively. The mainstay of realizing this benefit is wisdom. There are many teachings for achieving this benefit. For example, the 10 virtues would make for protection. Atta karana dhamma, virtues which makes for self-reliance. Broadly speaking, this factor refers to bringing the practice of the threefold train to completion in regard to personal responsibilities. Second, parata, the benefit of others, fostering of self-reliance, and others helping others to realize well-being to achieve spiritual goals. That is the three goals, atta, mentioned earlier, which have to do with others' peoples, which are accomplishments of those parts from oneself. The mainstay for realizing this benefit is compassion. The teaching promoting this benefit includes the four principles of service, sanghata watu, and the teaching of the responsibility of virtuous friends, kalayana mitra. The third, upayata, the benefits of both parties on the shared benefits of three goals mentioned earlier, which are realized by both oneself and others, or by oneself and one's community. For example, advantages accrued by way of shared belongings or by way of communal activity. In particular, this benefit refers to social environment and the way of life that's conducted for all members of a community to practice in order to realize personal benefits and to act for others' benefits. The mainstay for realizing the benefits are moral discipline, vinaya, to communal harmony, samakhi. The teaching reliant to the subject is the six virtues conducive to communal life, saraniya dhamma. The seven conditions of welfare, aparaniya dhamma, along with general teaching on necessary conduct supportive to society. These two triads of benefits or goals, atta, can be thus combined as a single group. The first group, atta, a personal benefit, can be divided into three kinds. Ditta dhammikata, immediate benefit, basic or visible goals. Samparayikata, future benefit, higher or profound goals. Paramata, supreme benefit, highest goal. The second group, parata, the benefits of others, can be divided into the same three levels. Ditta dhammikata, immediate benefit, basic or visible goals. Samparayikata, future benefit, higher or profound goals. And paramata, supreme benefit and higher goals. So the two categories are basically the personal benefits and then benefits for others. And the same classification for both of them. Immediate future and then the final supreme goal. The third category is upayata, the benefit of both others and oneself, or collective goals. Every sort of benefit or objective, according to the three levels of above, immediate, future, and supreme, that is supportive for development and realizing personal well-being and well-being of others. Now, this section pertaining to virtuous benefits of life is naturally linked to the previous section in the living of the holy life, brahmacharya. We thus recapitulate the meaning of the holy life, brahmacharya, or Buddhist conduct, charya dhamma. Thus, a system of spiritual practice based on the understanding of natural truths, which is conducive to fulfilling worthy aspirations of human life, and which fosters both a way of life and social environment supportive of realization. In short, it is a way of life based on satya, truth, leading to worthy goals, atta, and nurturing a healthy environment for realizing these goals, realizing atta. That's the end of part 3 on 12.1, leaving off at page 1278, Buddhadhamma.